What's up, everybody? Welcome to the High Level Husband Podcast. I'm Diane McCollister, and I'm joined today by
Tommy McCollister. What's funny, guys, it only took 8 times for her to do the intro.
It was more like 5.
Okay, 5 times. But no, we just wanted to mix things up today. And we're actually in our other studio today because we wanted to just do a quick podcast. We're taking the kids out to do something fun, and we weren't going to have time to jump in the other podcast studio and do it. So we're going to let this rip here. But today we're talking about how to create emotional intimacy. And as we all know, everybody says, you know, men need physical intimacy and women need emotional intimacy, which is true. But I'll just be real from a guy who loves physical intimacy. Heck, we just got done having physical intimacy about 10 minutes ago. It's a big part of it for me. Typically, that's what really does it for me is seeing my wife, seeing Diane, seeing you. And it's kind of sometimes when we're talking to the screen, it seems a little bit seeing you, babe, like be somebody out of your comfort zone. Like, guys, everybody should have coaches in their life. Like, this is what we do. We lead very high level people all over the world, but we still have a coach. We had a coaching call today with somebody for 3.5 hours, which normally they don't go that long, but we went deep, and it was so cool to see Diane stretch her limits, go for something like that, to be able to always get next level coaches and things like that. And so that stuff turns me on. It makes me proud of her. And when we're proud of each other, I tell her, because the very number, they're going to give you 4 main things right here. Might slip in a couple other things of like how to create emotional intimacy. And number 1, gratitude. Gratitude's everything.
Yeah.
First and foremost, just intimacy with God has to start with gratitude, right? Like worshiping, praising him, doing all of that, not just going to God as like a magic genie. God, my life sucks, give me money or fix my marriage and things like that. No, gratitude and praise. Every single one of your prayers should start with gratitude and praise. Well, guess what? Pretty much all your conversations with your wife should start with gratitude and praise. Like, babe, tell the people, I would guess just kind of dive into that. And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that, what that looks like, guys, but how important that is in our marriage, but then in general for women.
To have gratitude or to hear gratitude.
Yeah, be grateful, and things of those such, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because if we don't hear those things, what's building that connection between each other? You know, if we're not giving each other praise, if we're not giving each other gratitude, if we're not honoring each other for all of these things, then what's building that connection? Then we're not sharing anything that's intimate and personal with each other. And that's how we build that emotional connection.
Keyword right there, what you said, babe, was like intimate and personal. Because normally, especially as marriages go on, it's why they die off. It's all the times. It just becomes mundane of like, how was your day? Oh, it was good. You know, did you get the kids picked up from school? Yeah. Oh, you won't believe it. Billy, he got in trouble at school, and then like he didn't do. We've been stuck on his homework all afternoon. All these teachers, they just give such much homework these days, and it's like that's not emotional intimacy. That's boring. That ain't getting nobody connected. Right. Are those details that are important to marriage? Yes, but you need to have the others. And so gratitude, guys. Your wife, do not just assume that she knows how you think about her because you drop it every now and then, right?
And even if we think we know how somebody feels about the other person, we need to express and share that.
Diane, I think that'd be great is like, I share that. I uplift
and what you do, you share so much of that with me. You honor me. You show me gratitude. Tell me how much you love me and what I mean to you. And, you know, I think that's what makes our marriage so special is because we do that to each other all the time, every day.
And when I see you doing something different and a different wrinkle in your life, I'm always encouraging you and honoring you for all of those things. Yes. It's for everything, guys.
Yes.
And so I share that. Well, people are always like, well, you're just a lucky guy. There's no luck involved in this, guys.
That was built.
Built, right? I wasn't always that person. I didn't always encourage her.
And I didn't do that either.
Right. But guys, so if you're not getting it, it's okay. You still do it. A mediocre marriage is about what's in it for me. I'll do it if she's doing it. Mm-hmm. If I do it and she doesn't start doing it back, then I'm going to stop. Yeah. No. When Jesus washed feet, without expecting his feet, he didn't like, okay, I'm going to wash their feet, but then I'm going to lay back here in a second. They're all going to take turns washing my feet. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't get his feet washed. He actually got nailed to the cross the next day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't wash their feet. He washed their feet. They didn't wash his. Mm-hmm. There was no expectations. Right. And once you jump into this, I was doing a client interview when people go through our program and they get these radical transformations. I was talking to one of them yesterday. I do these little client interviews with them at the end. And one was saying, when I got rid of expectations in my marriage, my wife, like, finally let her pressure down, her
Mm.
all of this. She could just relax in herself. There wasn't any, I needed her on this pedestal of all this stuff and her to do all of these things. He said, when I removed those and just served to her and loved her and encouraged her and did gratitude for her, all those things, she was uplifted.
Mm.
And then it wasn't like, okay, but now you do that for me. Okay, now get naked. Okay, now get a better paying job. Okay, you need to lose weight. Okay, you need that. When he took the pressure off, their marriage fixed, right? Well, guess what do you think she wants to do? Become better in all of those areas because there's no pressure,
Yeah.
and she just wants to be better for him. You can never force somebody into it. So I just
Right.
wanted to touch on that.
Oh, yes, I started to cut you off. Sorry.
Don't
I was
ever
just-
cut me off.
We were talking, you were saying how even if you're not getting it back, and that's what started with us, is that you started doing that to me before I started doing it to you. And it took a little bit for me to kind of like figure that out and to see
Mhm.
that. So if, like he's saying, like Tommy's saying, if you're doing it and you're not getting it in response, give it some time. It takes a little bit of time for somebody to realize that you're doing it and then pick up on it and then get the courage to do it themselves.
And I don't think you even realized that you needed it.
Right. No. Yeah. I don't think a lot of times people do realize that they need it until they get it and they're like, wow, that feels really
After a
amazing.
while too. After a while, because sometimes it's uncomfortable for people.
Yeah,
That's why I don't like the love languages. They're real, but they're so surface level. They're like importance on the list, a 1 out of 10. And 10 being the most important. Because people don't realize they need those things.
Yeah.
Like you would have said affirmations probably would have been like the lowest of your things. That are gift giving and it would have been the lowest.
Yeah.
But that's been such a big game changer because what did you also struggle with? Self-confidence and self-worth.
Right.
Well, do you think me encouraging her over the years eventually built it up to where that actually became a love language of hers?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so guys, when she feels value, you'll feel respected. And it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, don't do it to get that. It's just a natural cause of it. So number 2, serve without expecting credit. That was kind of like what we were talking about just a second ago with Jesus of washing the feet. Like do it, make the bed, fix the faucet, do all of that different stuff, but don't expect praise. Real leaders lead from the front and just do without expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And when your wife knows that's wholehearted, like there, she's like, dude, this dude is something special. Like, I want this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you fake the funk, she'll see through it. And 2, if you do that for months and you don't get anything in return, and then it comes back, she will be like, boom, yep, I knew it was too good to be true.
Yeah.
There's the shoe dropping.
Right.
And oftentimes that's how it works in faith.
Yeah.
God, you might be telling God, oh, I'm so surrendered to you, God. I just trust you, God. And then he takes you to the brink of like financial bankruptcy, death, marriage on the brinks of that. And a lot of times he's just thinking like, all right, we'll see.
I'm going to see how much you're actually putting trust in me.
Yeah. Let's endure. Let's endure then.
Yeah.
And he'll find out. You'll find out quickly if you actually trust him. Go to bankruptcy. Go to that spot. He won't put you through it. You'll get there though, and he'll get you close. Now your flesh can take over and it'll take you the rest of the way. He wants to see if you're real. Go look at Abraham and Isaac. He wanted to see if he would really kill his son. Let me see it. You really about this?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing with your wife. She'll see through it. You just keep serving without expecting credit. Good things happen. When you just love God without expecting him to bless you, you just do it because you love him.
Yeah.
Dude, like that's when all the blessings in the world will come your way. God is God of abundance, and he's just doing that in our life in so many aspects right now. Praise be to God. But it took us years to actually get our heart to there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're ready for is ready for you. Sometimes you're not ready for an amazing marriage. Sometimes you're not ready for the wealth. Sometimes you're not ready for anything in your life, but yet you're praying for it. God's preparing you for it. You want it sooner, but if you got it sooner, you'd ruin it. That's where we have to trust in him. So guys, serve without expecting credit. Number 2. So now you're even praising them. You're serving without credit, with needing that. So she's not feeling any pressure, which then allows her to open up and share more, right?
Right.
The next one would be 3rd, touch without agenda. Like I'll be honest, I grope like you a decent amount. Grab my wife's
This is
butt
true.
and those things quite a bit.
But I like it because I know that I'm wanted.
But here's the thing, guys. I'm not grabbing her butt and then being like, hey, babe, let's go upstairs right now. Let's do that things.
Yeah.
No, I'm just doing it because I'm joking in love with her. And she knows that's not my agenda.
Absolutely.
If every time I grabbed her butt, I was like,
Trying to get some?
trying to like take it to the next level, put my hands down her pants, pull her in the other room, something, she'd be like, dude, stop. Because she would put up a red flag of like, this is uncomfortable. Every time he touches me, he's wanting it right then.
Yeah, or he expects it.
Where she knows I expect no sex.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I'm playful and it's joyful. So big guys, a lot of people go, my wife hates it when I touch her. But yeah, because you're forcing yourself on her and she's not attracted to you. You haven't built up the emotional connection. So she feels like, well, he's only doing this because he wants sex. He doesn't open up emotionally to me. He doesn't serve without expecting. He doesn't have gratitude and encourage me. All he does is touch my butt. And then I know he just wants sex, right? So you build all of that.
And then try it.
But then you touch without agenda. These moments will remind her that your connection is there, but it's not about physical. Like plenty of times throughout the day, because we work together, I'm loving on her, I'm hugging her, I'm doing all of these things. I'm telling her how beautiful she is. I'm uplifting her in all these other areas. And we're always touching each other. But we don't go have sex right then. Sometimes we do, but not, obviously I do that and you do that numerous times a day. We don't have sex numerous times a day. And so it's just so important for that. Now, the cool thing about that, guys, is that when she knows it, again, is emotional intimacy, that you're not just, all you think about is sex. That's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And what that does is also warming up the engine. And when she knows that it's not a need of yours, maybe a desire, but not a need. Too many dudes have a need.
Yes.
And there's no needing of sex in your life. You can go the rest of your life without sex.
Yes.
100%.
Jesus did.
And if you're a Christian, you say, well, I'm not Jesus. Trust me, he was 100% human. He felt the pain of the cross. It says be Christ-like. So you don't have a need, you have a desire.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a need, trust me.
Yeah.
And so then when you do that, it's stoking the fire. So then when it does, it's easy to get her straight into, it's easy to get, I don't want to say get her, but get the connection when he goes to the bed there so much faster because you've been playfully touching, but there's no expectation on it. So do that without any expectation of it. Lastly, listen with intent, guys. Listen to understand, not respond. Put down your phone, look her in her eyes, repeat back what she says sometimes, ask deeper questions. Don't be distracted in doing other things. Listen. And I'll say that there's been times where I've been guilty of this where, now granted, this is where Diane probably drops the ball. She'll come and start a conversation with me when I'm in the middle of something. And a lot of my work is on my phone between keeping contact with clients, creating content, doing things like that. And she'll come over and start a conversation with me.
But a lot of times we'll ask each other, hey, is now a good time?
Right. Or we'll read the room and we know.
Right.
And so that's just the point. Put your phone down. Listen. Now, if you're in the middle of a project, say, hey, babe, you know what? I'm in the middle of something right now.
I need 5 more minutes or whatever.
Yeah. When are you going to do this? Babe, I need like 5 more minutes. Or you know what? I'm going to finish this. Can we talk here in like 20 minutes or 30? Or you know what? After we get the kids to bed, can we just talk? But then do it. Don't just be asleep on the couch or then be involved in a TV show or something. You have to have that conversation.
Yes.
If you say you're going to do it later, you have to do it later, no matter what. Whether you get hit by a bus or it's perfect timing. Yeah. You still do that conversation. And when you do that, she'll know it. And I know I'm joking about the bus, but literally, even when we're really sick or anything's happened in our life, we still had those conversations.
Yes, we did.
And that's how you get to greatness. Yeah. You don't pick and choose when you're going to do it. I know I get fired up over that, guys. I'm just so tired of people thinking normal is everybody masturbates, everybody drinks alcohol, everybody argues. It's healthy to argue because your kids will see there's conflict management. Cool. Well, then why don't you become a drug addict so you can show them that there's recovery? Well, no, not everybody's an addict. Oh, really? Go see how many obese people are in this country. Go see how many people are on antidepressants or on alcohol or smoke weed or do anything. Yeah, majority. So, yeah, everybody is an addict. So why not just become an even bigger addict to show your kids that you can come back from recovery? No, not everybody argues, guys. I'm being real with that. Stop settling for less. You can do more. The guy can do the guy can do more than you can ask or imagine. But he says immeasurably more than you can ask or imagine.
Yeah.
And if you don't serve that God, you're not serving the real God. You're serving a God of limitations. You're serving the devil because the devil's going to tell you can't do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So listen intent, guys. When she's speaking, have a connection. Let her know that. And don't just be waiting for her to stop speaking or cut her off so you can speak.
don't speak at all. Almost just wait for her to ask you your opinion, or if she doesn't, then don't ever say anything.
Yeah. Or, ooh, that's good, babe.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Small comments, yes.
Well, why do you think that is?
But not trying to speak to fix something or to get your word in.
Sometimes they just want to share.
Right.
And what I mean about that is like, so many guys want to fix because it's easier to fix than to share emotion or have an emotional conversation.
Yeah.
But let's just say this. Let's say you were bringing a vulnerable conversation with like an employee of yours or a boss of yours. And you were sharing it, and then she's like, your wife was trying to fix the problem. Well, let me call your boss. I'm calling him right now, and I'm going to fix this problem. You'd be like, whoa, pump your brakes. No, I was just telling you. That's how your wife feels when you try to fix. She will let you know if she wants you to fix. We fix a lot of things for each other, but we have such a flow in our conversations because of years of doing that. I know when you're looking for something like that,
Right.
and you've trusted me that I have the best intentions, and I'm also ridiculously vulnerable. So are you. So there is that connection already, rather than just going straight to fix, skipping the vulnerable, and let's just get this moving. Save that for the military and the workplace. But even then, we need to have that with our employees.
Yes.
So, guys, those 4 things are huge. The closing with all of the emotional intimacy is praying over your spouse. I was just talking with one of our coaches today who's underneath us, because we have other coaches below us in our company. And I was telling him, I go, you know what is awesome about praying at the end of a coaching call with at the end of it is like you've just now had an hour to an hour and a half of coaching somebody, and they're sharing, they're getting vulnerable, they're doing all this. Well, now because you're listening, at the end when you pray over them, you have all this amazing stuff that you pray for, that they just shared, that they're hoping to work through, that they need to grow in. That's the same thing with your spouse.
Yeah.
When you pray over them, you should be speaking the things that they've been telling you in the intimate conversations, because you're actually listening. Well, so many guys say, well, I don't know how to pray over my spouse, or I don't know what to talk about, or I don't know what she needs. I'm not a mind reader. Are you listening intently? Are you asking questions? Are you doing this daily? Or are you just one-minded track? Like, I just want more sex. Like, you will get unlimited sex. Same thing when God says, seek the kingdom first and all of this will be added to you. Seek your wife's heart first and all of that will be added to you. It's the same way.
Yeah.
It really is. And guys, so that's how you build emotional intimacy. There's a ton of other things, but it's vulnerable conversations. The key of this is consistency, day in and day out,
Right.
day in and day out.
Not once a week.
Right.
That's not going to build very fast if you're doing it once a week.
At all.
Every day.
That's what it's been for us, right? Like, I would love if you just touch on consistency just a hair before we jump out of here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as what goes.
Like, how that's been such a huge part of our life that we just like to get to where we're at now in business, in marriage, in faith, in all of that.
Everything we do daily and very consistent. We go for a walk every day together. That's when we get vulnerable. That's when we have that connection together. That's when we do share. And then we make sure we do it every single day. Everything in our lives is built on consistency. Everything.
Read the Bible daily. Pray over each other every day. Go to church every weekend. Sabbath every weekend. Tithe every single month.
Yeah.
Take care of our physical bodies. Pray over our children.
Right.
Eat healthy every day. Pour into others. Solitude. Prayer for ourselves. Like, all of that stuff adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Just most people don't want to put their intention in it because they're too busy. We're going to touch on this a little bit on another podcast. On a podcast, is that if you don't have enough time for that stuff, reduce your expenses in your life. You don't have time because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You have 2 cars. You have a house that is probably a little out of your budget. You have every single subscription on TV. You eat out regularly. You go on elaborate trips. You buy new clothes regularly. Doing all of this stuff that costs a ton of money. When you just simplify it, then your expenses are lower. Then you need to make less money. You have less stress in your life. That keeps more time for your spouse. Instead of watching TV because you don't have the subscriptions anymore, you're spending time with each other. Like, it's all adds up. Reduce your expenses. That's a huge one. And boom, next thing you know, you're killing it. So, guys, we love you. Babe, why don't you close this out here? You entered it in. Tell them that. Tell them you love them.
I think you better do that.
Well, we love you guys. We love challenging each other. Guys, we just thank you so much. I know we're really bold. It's because we're passionate that what God has for us. And if you don't like boldness, then you're probably not a Christian, because Jesus was extremely bold. Extremely bold. He was so bold they nailed him to a cross, right? So guys, we're bold because we're passionate about what we do, and we know the transformations that are there, and we watch it day in and day out of lives all over the world just being transformed.
Yes.
And so we just know what God has blessed us with the knowledge and wisdom to be able to teach works. And so we're bold and passionate because we just want people to do it because it actually works. And so, guys, if you're interested in coaching, hit the link below down there, and there's going to be a free training that will give you a ton of knowledge. If you want to book a call with our team, do that, and then we'll go from there. But either way, just listen to the podcast. And one last thing we always ask, guys, is please, if you just rate it 5 stars, it means the world to us, and it reaches more people. And when it reaches more people, we're getting more people to know the kingdom, from know God, serve the kingdom, and that's how we take territory and push back the gates of hell. So we love you so much. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.